Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to take a look at the Fans Hobby Naval Commander, their version of like a masterpiece Armada Optimus Prime. Now, this was a figure that I've gone back and forth on, like, do I want it, do I not want it, do I want it, do I not want it? Ultimately, the Armada, the fact that they announced that they're doing an Armada Megatron pushed me over the edge, and I'm like, alright, I'm going to get it. So here he is out of the box, and real quick, and I'm not one of those people that like, oh my god, the box. You know, you guys know me. But I did want to show it off real quick. So from the people that may remember this looks almost exactly like the old school Armada Optimus Prime box. This is so close. It's crazy. It really brings me back. There's a nostalgia factor here. Working really hard here. And I really like that. Yeah. So, while we're here, I just want to show off a couple things that we will not be looking at, and I know I'm going to get some shit for that. But I just don't see a purpose. The base modes, we're skipping. I mean, if you want to look at a giant, parts of a giant robot laying on its back, that's considered base mode. I don't know. There's other channels that will show off every little aspect of it. Today we're gonna do this mode, and that's what we're focusing on. And then the next day, we'll focus on the big guy. I figure split them up into two separate reviews so that we can, focus on each individual figure. But I'm not doing the base mode. I don't like the base modes. I never cared for base modes. And as you can see, it's just a robot laying down. It's not all that interesting. So, I don't know I don't know many people that would buy something like this for this. And if you are one of those people, I do apologize. We're not looking at it. All right. Now, he does come with some extra pieces. He does have different ears for the big bot. I guess I go this way. So we'll look at that when we get there. We might switch them out. We might not. We'll see how it goes. He does come with this extra clear piece. I believe that is for the eyes on the big robot. There's painted eyes, and then there's the clear eyes that you can put in so that the lights will. He's got a light up feature, but we're not going to go into that. And then he's got these missile pods here, and we'll look at those when we can. All right. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is this guy before we get into the review. So this is the little spark plug figure, little Minicon. He's got the little Minicon port. It says it's compatible with other Minicons. He rolls just fine. I can't transform this, and I won't. Every time I've tried, pieces just start falling off everywhere. It is... I don't know. Let's see. Let's try it, I guess. Put money where I'm at. Alright, so that fell off. It kind of doesn't want to get out of its own way. There's that. Okay, now this piece should come undone, right? guess not. Just this piece here. Yeah, and then I have a problem with like these pins coming out, which really suck. I mean, come on. It should just come out. There we go. And now we can fold that to the back. Rotate the waist around. And then this will just fold up like that. This is lift up. Not really. Alright, there we go. There it is in its robot mode. I don't... Alright. When I was transforming it, or trying to last night, these pins here, these little plastic pins, they're plastic pins that hold the arm together, kept falling out, and it was just a mess. It was such a mess. I had little pieces of this thing all over the table, and I'm like, I'm not touching this, but... Come on. Oh, piece of shit. Alright, there we go. Oh, fuck you. Yeah, those ball joints barely hold it. This thing is garbage. Total and utter garbage. I would have rather them not include anything at all. So the head swivels, the shoulders are on ball joints that come undone, elbows swivel up and down. Hips are on ball joints, so you get the up and the down and a little bit in and out. Bends at the knee, and he's got a toe tilt. And I'm done looking at this thing. I am so done with this thing. This gets a 0. I'll give it a 1. It works in its car mode. And that's what we're going to just switch it back to right now. Just so that a little bit prepared to look at where it connects in with the Minicon ports. That's what we'll focus on here. Focus on the positive. I don't like this thing. It is just total garbage. It's alright. Now, this should just go right back to where it was, right? There it goes. There we go. And now we can put these shoulders back in, right? Let's see here. This goes on this side. Go. And there we go. this is worthless. If you bought this set for this guy, I do apologize. All right, so here is the Prime in its trailer mode. It does roll. He does have tank treads in the back here. They do roll with him as well. All of that works flawlessly. He's able to rotate side to side, no issues there. It does seem like it's a little slanted forward, but I mean, there's so much weight to it. In real life, I would imagine that happening too. But yeah, overall, all that works pretty well. And then he's got it just tabs in. Oh, that's why it was rotating more. So if you plug it in, there's two tabs here that plug into these two tabs slots here and here. So if you tab those in like that, then it gives him just a little bit of rotation. But if you untab it, he gets all of the rotation. So it's kind of up to you how you want to do it. Technically, it should be like this. The rifle does plug in under the bottom here, just like that. Again, there's two tabs on the sides of the gun, two slots there, and you can just tab those in. And then he does have these pieces here that they just plug onto the side. There's just this peg here, and there's a slot in there, and you can just tab those in. They do have a compartment, which I believe you can fit mini-cons in, so much like the original. And then it does have mini-con ports that pull out here. There's one underneath here, and there's one here and here. They just slide out, and then you can take the mini-con and just plug it into the side. Just like that. So, he's got some options there for display if you want to do it that way. There you go. Alright. And then the gun here, let's take one of these missiles and see if we can figure this out real quick. You take the missile, plug it in. I'm not seeing a trigger on this. Where's the trigger? Okay, it's not like a super squirter. There it goes. Okay. Alright. So you take the missile there, and then you push in on this side. And it's got a pretty good shot to it. And I believe the actual spring is in here instead of in here. And then he does have missile pods up here as well. And I think you just slide them in and then push on the gray piece, right? Yep. And that just fires them out. So yeah, he's got some options there with the missiles. The gun, as you saw, it has the handle that slides down. It's got these two handlebars for like the base mode, so that you can plug this in, and then he can hold the gun from there. And then the gun does extend to make a big gun. All right. Set that off to the side, we'll set this off to the side, and we'll set this guy off to the side. We're going to focus on this guy for the rest of this review. So yeah, he does roll. He does look quite a bit like the original figure. Now, I got to point out, and this is one thing I have a problem with this figure, is that I keep trying to, in my mind, compare it to the deluxe version. and this is not the deluxe version. This was like the Super Con version or whatever it was. And that's where, you know, that's a personal issue with me, because I didn't like the bigger one. I liked the deluxe one. I thought that one was almost a perfect Optimus Prime, and in my mind, it's like the other one almost didn't exist, even though I had it. But let's get him transformed. He's not a difficult transformer at all. So first thing we want to do is pull these feet down, and we can rotate those forward. Okay, and then we split the legs, and then we can untab this back piece here, and this kind of just becomes back skirting. And then this needs to be rotated around. I had it set for the combine mode, so that's what I'm doing here. It's just fixing something I did. All right, and then we rotate that back down. All right, now the feet, there's a slot there, tab there, and you just pull those up and lock them in. Just like that. Now we can untab the arms, and they just kind of rock down like that. Rotate the arm around, and what we want to do here is we take this piece here, and it slides, slides this way, so it's on the back, on the side of the forearm. So again, rotate it down, and then slide that forward like that. Now open this panel here out, flip out the hand, close it up. Same thing over here. Close it up. And then we take this assembly and we just slide it up until it locks. Like that. Alright, now we take this piece here, and this will untab from up here, like that. This part here will pull down. And then you take this piece here into the back, fold this up, like that, and it just sits onto the back like that, as far as I can tell. I haven't seen any way to get that a little bit cleaner there. Alright, and then this chest piece here will lock into place. Just like that. He does have the matrix of leadership here that you can get out. It's really in there. There we go. There we go. Now that we lost it. Where to go? That just like flew off. I don't know where that went. Oh, there it is. Alright. So he does have the little matrix to leadership. I think it looks stupid. It doesn't look all that great to me. I suppose you can have him hold it. I don't know. Alright, and now it's back in there, and I'll probably never take it out again. And then we take this piece here. This part is obnoxious. Is trying to get these gray pieces lined up so that you can lock the chest into place. They have to go a certain way, otherwise they don't fit right. And let's see here, I believe we gotta do it. I had such a hell of a time. This is the hardest part of the entire transformation of this figure, and that includes the going to Superbot mode. There it goes. And I get it right away. All right, and there he is in his robot mode, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's really nothing else to it. I wish this folded up a little bit better, or maybe like if it was able to open this up and fold it in, but it's got all the like main robot head in the back there and stuff, so there's reasons why it can't, and that sucks because it's like I wish they did a version of this figure where it was they just focused on this because this is what I want. This is the figure I wanted out of this set. I didn't want the combined mode. I didn't want the trailer. I didn't want, this. I would have preferred this guy with the little jet mini-con overrun. That's the one that I had. I had this one too, but it's like that's the one I really liked. Anyway, head is on a ball joint, so you get the left, the right, a little up, good up, and down. Pretty good range of motion there. It does feel a little on the loose side, but it's like the SH figure art's kind of loose, where it's like it's loose, but it just moves to where you need it to move. I think it's a double ball peg, actually. Yeah, I mean that's moving in a lot of different directions. Yeah, that's a double ball peg. So it moves where you want it to move, and it stays there. It doesn't flop around. It just, like, as you're manipulating it, it's like, hey, that's kind of loosey. But yeah, all in all, pretty good there. Shoulders are on big ball joints, so you get all the way around, no issues there. It does have another hinge in there, so you get the outward motion. Little bit of a butterfly there if you need it. Bicep swivel. It does seem a little cumbersome, the way it moves like that, but I mean, with his shoulders the way they are, it's probably the best way to do it. Bicep swivel. Softer ratcheted elbows. Wrist swivels, fingers open and closed with one base pin, or one pin throughout the whole fingers, and then the index finger moves on its own. This panel is not locking in super securely. Every time you move the hand, it seems to want to come out. Is this one doing the same thing? Yeah. So, not the end of the world, but something to be mindful of. Now, he does have a waist swivel. You have to pull these pins out, these gray pins here out. They're not the easiest to get to. There we go. Come on, stay locked in. And then there we we go. All right, so once you have those pins out, now you can rotate the waist. But I think this looks ugly having those out, and it kind of gets caught up back here too. So it's almost worthless to me. There we go. All right, hips. These skirtings get a little obnoxious, but they do get out of the way. But the hips ratcheted up and down, gets caught up back there. Again, you kind of get that out of the way, but yeah, you get pretty much the full range there. Soft ratchets out to the side like that. Thigh swivel, bends at the knee. There's another bend in there too, which, yeah, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But yeah, so you get the bend at the knee, the rocker, tilt, and then toe tilt. And then you can take the really large gun, which I'm not a fan of for this guy, and you can just slide it into his hand. It's just got the that peg slider system like Make Toys has. I'm gonna close his fingers up. No, his fingers won't close up with it in there. And there he is. And I think the gun is a little too big and goofy. I don't like it. But overall, the Corebot I do enjoy. He's not perfect by any means. I think the torso just seems a little bit on the long side. I just kind of want to collapse this blue section and get this gray piece down here to the waist. I think that would make it look a little bit cleaner. And I do wish that would fold up a little bit better and these back pieces kind of get out of the way a little bit more. But that's just indicative of the character too, the back pieces. And that he does clean up pretty well, going off the original figure anyway. But yeah, overall I think he's pretty solid. Here for size comparison, here he's with the Megatron, so he's a little bit bigger than Megatron here. So, you know, it's like if you had one of those larger chug collections, like you use an Orion, this guy would actually fit in pretty well. And here he is with the Fans Hobby Scourge, which is more like an MP10 scale. So yeah, I wonder if this gun would look good in him, in his hand. They're not compatible. All right. Just a thought. So yeah, that is this guy in a nutshell. Yeah, like I said, I mean, we're already at 30 minutes, so I'm not... mostly because of that stupid car. And losing the Matrix. So yeah, next time I'll do the combined mode with the trailer, and we'll take a look at all that. But yeah, for this figure, the way how I purchased it, I do not think it's worth the $220 price tag that he has. But that's because I only bought it for him. Now, we'll take a look to see if it's worth it when we get to the combined mode, but I think they could have cleaned up the waist better, they could have cleaned up the back a little bit better. Some of the joints seem a little funky, and those could work a little bit better. But again, it's like sacrifices being made for that combined mode, and that's the part that kind of sucks for this. So all in all, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I think... it's a pretty good effort, and I'm happy to have it. Don't get me wrong. If you're buying it for just this guy, I think you really need to think about weigh the benefits of getting him versus the super mode. But ultimately, I'm happy I have him. He's going up on my shelf. I don't know where, but I will find a shelf for him to go. My shelf is all over the place these days, but it's just something I'm happy to have. He's just a good figure overall, and yeah. See, this opens up this way. If it would have opened up the other way and had this slide into there, I think it would have been so much cleaner. Maybe they could do a retool of this guy, like a heavy retool of this guy, and release just the deluxe version and the Nemesis version, because that would be so fucking cool. I would buy that too. But ultimately, I mean, I do recommend him if you're a huge fan of this version of Optimus. I hated the cartoon, but I love the toy. It's what got me back into the that G1 idea of Transformers. Optimus as a truck as opposed to a gorilla. It's something that really changed my collection to this day. So Armada's this particular character is an important part of that. These do go up a little bit for knee pads, it looks like. So that looks cool. There we go. Huh, those weren't in the instructions, I don't think. There's a lot of things that aren't clear in the instructions, and we'll get to that. Kinda. But anyway, alright, so yeah. It's a soft recommend for me for this. We'll take a look to see how the big mode goes when we get there. So.